Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're getting ready for week 6 and our NFL predictions and touchdown parlays. But before I get started, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Much appreciated. Guys, I need views. I was very disappointed this week when I saw a lot of people not subscribing or yet alone looking at my YouTube channel for getting an edge that's really for free, that I'm giving it to you, doing all the analytics. You want to make some money, then, get onto my YouTube channel, guys. I'm really trying to be as helpful as I can. Anyway, I got my notes ready to go here about this upcoming weekend's games. But before we get started, I just want to say that it was very disappointing to a lot of sports bettors how many upsets there was during the weekend, beginning with the San Francisco 49ers pulling that upset against the Rams. And there was a lot of head-scratching moments with coaches this past weekend, as well with games that just did not have the outcome I was expecting for us to win money, okay? So I apologize if I picked games and you guys ran with it and lost on those games, okay? That's on me, but that's also on the league that's acting very funny because the storyline so far this season, after 5 weeks, has been special teams, block kicks, blocked field goals, punts, you name it, special teams, punt returns, kicker. It's getting crazy, and I have a funny feeling that this is going to play all the way out through the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. So be aware of that, sports bettors. Okay? Now, with that said, I got to say that there were some games this past weekend, so many upsets, guys, and it's a shame because sports bettors around the world are depending on facts, right? They go on a website, they go searching around, they go on a sports app, they go to their local sports books. They're just trying to find information on what can give them an edge, right? I'm one of those guys that tries to give you this edge for free. And then they find out that, guys, it's just not panning out the way we expect. I mean, we're doing all the research and nothing is producing. I mean, we're losing money out there. This is one of the reasons why I tell you guys to bet small or win big, right? A small little bet on a touchdown parlay or parlay builder on your sports app will get you the money you're looking for. But lately, these games are getting funny. Let's begin with that 49ers game, right? Against the Rams. Did you really expect the 49ers? Who've been lucky this year, they stole victory in the last seconds 3 out of the 5 weeks, okay? They go into this game with a backup quarterback, a good one in Mac Jones. So let's not discredit that guy, okay? Because he showed a lot of heart in that game, okay? And you 49er fans ought to know, right? And it's not that I'm picking on you guys, but you should know that, my goodness, how many games with all the injuries we got are we going to escape with victory, right? You head to LA. It felt like we were in San Francisco, right? And then you guys proceed to allow the 49ers dominate you. The Rams were just not, I mean, I don't know where the Rams went. And you got two of the best receivers in the league, right? In Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. And yet you guys couldn't do nothing. I mean, the 49ers were playing basically with corners and a defense that, if you watch the game, they were falling. Everybody was getting injured. They were down to probably the third stringers by the end of the game. And they had backup corners. And yet two of the best receivers in the leagues couldn't get it done. And then you go into overtime. And here it goes again for sports bettors out there that really, you start to scratch your head and wonder what is going on. How in the hell do you win the coin toss and you defer? You're in overtime. The Rams have momentum and they defer. Okay, now me as a coach, I'd be like, nah, give me the football. I want to head downfield, score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. You're putting the pressure on the opposing team to either match the field goal or match the touchdown. And if they don't get it, you have the game won, right? I don't know what's going on around the NFL. All of a sudden, coaches are deferring in overtime. So, listen, it's just funny business going on. Maybe it has something to do with sports betting and the NFL. I just don't get it. I know the men in black will probably show up at some point at my door. And then for the second week in a row, guys. Well, first of all, this team is jinxed. The Arizona Cardinals. For the third week in a row, they lose on the last second field goal. But I got to tell you something. This coach has blown 2 games within the past 3 weekends. The first one was against the 49ers, in which he had the game won. All he had to do was run the ball, waste some time off the clock, and they probably win that game. Instead, he passes the ball on third down to try to get a first down, gives the 49ers back the ball with plenty of time. They go down the field. We all know the result. The 49ers won the last second field goal. Then the week after, the same thing happens, right? And then now this past weekend, what goes on? Same thing. A coaching decision I don't get it. Someone explain to me. Okay, just explain to me how all of a sudden you just forget how to coach. Okay? You're up 21-6. All of a sudden, you take the foot off the gas and allow the Tennessee Titans, a team that just can't win if they fell out of the bus, a team that has a hard time scoring. One of the touchdowns was because the guy made a interception, couldn't hold on to it, fumbles it. No one touched him, and Tennessee recovers in the end zone for a touchdown. Okay, and then the worst part about all of that sequence is that the coach from Arizona decides, I'm not going to challenge that play. Had he challenged, he would have saw that the guy that made the interception, who wasn't touched, clearly, the ball can't cause a fumble, correct? Okay, falls to the ground. It looks like an incompletion. Right? An incomplete interception, basically. Doesn't even challenge. I think had he challenged it, I think they would have overturned the call and said, no interception. He never had possession. The guy rolls around the floor. All of a sudden, Tennessee's in the end zone. And the worst part is this, if I get this name correctly, and I feel bad for the guy, but this is 2 weeks in a row. This is how funny the NFL is getting. 2 weeks in a row. A play that happens every 10 years, maybe once every 10 years. And we got it last week with Adonai Mitchell of the Colts. I believe his name is Amari DiMarco. Good football player. The week before against Seattle, had a fantastic game, brought Arizona back into the game. All right. Basically back up to James Conner, comes in, does very well, right? And this weekend, for some reason, the coach decided I'm not going to play him in the first half. There were a lot of complaints online about this. This is how funny the NFL is getting. So online, people were like, hey, Amari DiMarco hasn't been in the game for the first 4 drives. Do you know how important that is to keep a playmaker out of the field? I don't think this coach realizes it. I really believe if you saw the YouTube video where he basically, got mad at Amari for what he did, and I'll explain it in a second, and he's yelling at his face and punches him, in the chest. Maybe the coach was upset about his decision not to play him in the first half. Because in the second half, DiMarco his playmaking ability took over. He's running for a 71-yard, what appeared to be a touchdown. Right? But he decides, I'm going to pull an Adonai Mitchell. And I'm just going to flip the ball before I cross the goal line. This is football 101, guys. What is wrong in the NFL that football players have this need that they have to celebrate before crossing the end zone? And by the way, he was one of my touchdown parlay builders, right? He was one of those guys that was on my list. Had he scored, I had about a 12-leg touchdown parlay going. He was one of them. He didn't score. He cost me $834,000. Yes, on FanDuel. Yes, he cost me that. Okay, by his stupidity. I'm jumping up and down in my living room, and I crashed out for the remainder of Sunday afternoon after he did that. Yeah. I had a $2.50 bet, and I picked 2 guys that Isaac Tesla of Detroit that I felt was a plus 900. And I picked him to get in the end zone, basically, for the Detroit Lions. And I picked DiMarco, who was a plus 340, I believe. So they So because of that, they built up an easy parlay to pay out more. And it was over 834,000. And this moron decides, I'm not going to just, you know, I want to show off. And he fumbles the ball. Yeah, thanks a lot, DiMarcado. But so, I think the coach was correct in being upset. Apologizing for hitting the player, while he's angry, it didn't look like much. I think the media is making it more than it is. But yeah, every right to be upset, but I guess there are some things you just can't do, right? So he ends up getting angry at the player. Okay, you could look it up on YouTube. And look, funny business is going on around the NFL. And the head coach was upset, probably more upset of himself that he never played him in the first half, probably could have helped him get into the end zone more, And what did I say last week, right? With little Mikey Myers. What did I say? This month's going to have a lot of tricks, and I'm here to bring you the treats. So far, it's been tricky, Little Mikey Myers and Halloween, it's getting a little crazy out there. But anyway, the NFL's playing funny business. And then these upsets. How about the game last night, guys? Did you happen to see the way the Jacksonville Jaguars on Trevor Lawrence's birthday, if that's not scripted? Okay? So these sports bettors are getting hammered. Okay, I got all the notes on everything I need to complain about. Chris Jones, you get paid a lot of money. Number 95 of the Kansas City Chiefs is now all over YouTube for his laziness at the end of the game. Now, two things that I'm going to point out. One, he probably thought Trevor Lawrence got sacked when he went down, right? Tripped over his own lineman. He went down, the quarterback of the Jaguars. And Chris Jones is just standing there like this. Like first he started rushing, then he pulls back. He sees Trevor Lawrence already tripping, forced to the ground. In his mind, he's probably thinking, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Play's over. He's not moving. All of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence gets up. Then Chris Jones starts to slide a little bit, but he's not going no faster than what I just did. All of a sudden, Trevor is heading towards the end zone. By the time Chris Jones decides to go get him, game is over. Trevor's in the end zone, touchdown. That's how the Jaguars won. Even though there was seconds left and Kansas City got the ball back, but they didn't do nothing. That's how Jacksonville won. I'm sorry, I think I said Kansas City, but that's how Jacksonville won. Okay? There's funny business going on, and sports bettors out there are getting beat because of stuff like this. Okay, you can't tell me that football's not funny these days, right? Especially now that sports betting is hand in hand with the NFL. We saw a couple of years ago Isaiah Rodgers, who I believe plays with the Vikings now, a good corner, was betting when he was with the Colts, I believe. You could look up a documentary on that and got himself suspended for 1 year by the NFL. There is some funny stuff going on around the NFL, and this is why I'm upset. This is why I was crashing out on Sunday, being upset. So now, today, we're going to do our Week 6 picks with caution. Because there's a lot of games that I'm noticing on the menu that just don't look right. And it's going to start with Thursday night. We're going to get a team. Someone explained to me how the Eagles lost a 14-point lead against the Denver Broncos. I'm not saying that Denver's not a good team, but they have a hell of a defense. But the score was 14-3 into the fourth quarter. And yet the Eagles found a way to blow that game. Oh, by the way, A.J. Brown complaining about, I don't get the ball enough. Well, you did this past Sunday. In fact, Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball all over the place. In fact, Saquon Barkley's non-existent the past 3 weeks. What did he get, 30 yards on Sunday? Imagine taking him as a player prop. Just didn't show up, guys. He just didn't show up. So, with that said, right, you got the ball, A.J., but you lost. Who's the selfish player now, right? I don't care what quotes, quoting the Bible or whatever. I'm sorry. And you got these knuckleheads on SportsCenter, ESPN, and all these networks defending A.J. Brown. I'm not defending A.J. Brown. You wanted the ball. The coach obliged. All right? You played a game in which the ball was being thrown all over the place, forgetting that you had a 14-point lead and you needed Saquon Barkley to run out that clock for you. I understand the offensive line is different, but you guys didn't do anything with him during the game. You didn't attempt it. I know you went against a good defense. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. It was a good defense. But the Eagles are good enough to run that ball with Saquon Barkley. They didn't do it. They end up losing the game. Let me go on to another team whose quarterback play is just downright non-existent since week 1. I thought before the season started that Geno Smith was going to take the next leap with Pete Carroll and get the Raiders to respectability again. It's just not happening. This guy, I don't know what happened to Geno Smith the past 3-4 weeks, right? Where are we? Week 6. This guy can't hit any receiver if he was standing in front of him. He either throws it high, low, or it's nowhere near the receivers. And he's throwing interceptions all over the place. And these guys just go to Indianapolis and get blown out. Literally blown out. I mean, 40 points? Meanwhile, you got one guy on the Raiders playing his ass off every weekend. And we all know who we're talking about, Max Crosby. Now, that's a player. I wish I had him on my football team, the Steelers. That's a guy who has a motor that's relentless. And yet the Raiders can't do anything. I thought the Raiders were going to be an 8-9-win team this year. They're looking like a 5-12 team now. Geno Smith, oh my God, just I can't put my finger on it. And I'm looking at my notes and here's listen. The Cowboys been giving up 40 points, pretty much 30 to 35 points, 40 points every weekend. Jets coming off where they pretty much Justin Fields was doing what he was doing against the Dolphins. And let's not talk about the Dolphins and their loss to the Panthers. Let's get through the Jets. Cowboys go to New York and put up 30, I believe it was 37-22 was the final. 37 points expected because Dak Prescott is playing like an MVP. Good for him. He's the only reason why Dallas Cowboys are still relevant in the playoff race. But the Jets, led by Aaron Glenn, are 0-5, showed up Sunday after, they showed something in Miami. They couldn't finish it, but they showed something. The Jets have a decent defense. They're not bad. But they were going up against a good offense like Dallas. And they get rocked. Literally rocked. And Jets defense showed no life. Sauce Gardner, you call yourself a shutdown corner? Where? I feel like taking these notes and just throwing it away. I mean, the Jets look lifeless. They're done. I don't care that they got Justin Fields. Maybe the Steelers saw something in Justin Fields, but you know what? I'm not even going to blame him. Because lately, for what it's worth, the guy, he's mobile. He can play. But they got nothing outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Braylon Allen got hurt last weekend. I don't know who their receivers are after Garrett Wilson. That's why you never see me put them down on a touchdown parlay. In fact, this week, I'm not even going to tell you who to pick for touchdown parlays. You guys are going to do that on your own. I'll mention names as I go along my list of picks. And then you guys build the parlay. And last week, and I just want to say for you viewers, man, I really screwed up by not showing you my whiteboard and my picks. I kept pausing the tape and okay, I'm going to show you my picks. And I didn't do it. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe you guys didn't need to see the picks. I had a better record than me, okay? Because I really bombed this past weekend. I didn't make no money. Even on the same game parlays last night. Thanks a lot, Travis Etienne. You're always in the end zone almost every week. And I picked one guy to score last night. Didn't get it done. I picked one team to win last night, Kansas City. And that was funny business at the end that they lost. They made Trevor Lawrence look like Dan Marino last night. No, better yet, almost like Lamar Jackson. The guy scored, 2 touchdowns rushing? Are you kidding me right now? You kidding me? I don't know where to begin, guys. So we're going to start off with the Thursday night game, right? And I know I was rambling on, but you got to understand some of the stuff that went on. I mean, crazy. All right, let's begin with the Eagles at Giants. All right, they got the Eagles at -7.5 to beat the Giants. This is the Thursday night game. They got the over and under at 41.5. And then me personally, I just think that this game's going to be under 41.5. Somewhere like maybe 28-10. I see the Eagles winning. Now the Giants, this game is funny all over the place. So you guys that are betting, be careful. Because right now, I got the Eagles at -7.5. That's too high. It's a rivalry game. That's too high. Okay, Vegas is going to tease this, right? All the money has to roll to the Eagles, right? Money line, right? Obviously, the money line is the Eagles. If they lose this game, that ought to tell you, all you sports bettors, what this is all about. The Men in Black will show up at my front door after this because I've been crashing out since Sunday and last night. Thanks a lot, Chris Jones, for making an effort. Okay, here's the thing about this game. -7.5 is a very big number, right, for a rivalry game. So if you want to take the +7.5, if you want to play it safe, I don't mind that. I'm personally taking -7.5 after the showing of the Eagles. I think this is the game that Saquon Barkley has to get going. I think the Eagles are going to make Saquon Barkley the focal point this Thursday night. If they don't, that will be shocking. I mean, was that the reason they didn't play much on Sunday? Because they knew in 4 days we were going to travel to New York to play the New York Giants. Giants have a good defense. It wasn't their fault they got rocked by the Saints last weekend. 5 straight turnovers by the offense will kill any team. All right? So I'm not blaming the Giants' defense. All right? And for those Giant fans that are jumping on the Jackson Dart wheel, and we're happy that he replaced Russell Wilson. Guess what, people? Malik Neighbors ain't out there. So even if Russell Wilson was in, or Jackson Dart, or Jameis Winston, you weren't going to win that game. That's how important the Malik Neighbors injury is. Cam Scatterball, for all the backflips he does, they were teeing off on him. Okay? So look, we're going to take, me personally, if you guys want to do the +7.5, or if this goes to 6.5, take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles anyway, -7.5. I think they're angry. I think they want to straighten their shit, and they're going to come into New York, and they're going to beat the Giants. That money line, the Eagles. Don't be stupid. Okay, now, all the money's going to roll with the Eagles, but it's going to get funny. The over and under is 41.5. I'm going to take the under. I think most of the points are going to come from the Eagles. This is going to be played close to the vest. It's a rivalry game. Okay, second game. Broncos at Jets, and I'm really getting pissed off with this London shit that's going on with the NFL. There is no home game for any NFL team that has to travel to Europe. The NFL is a monopoly. Again, the Men in Black will probably show up, but I got little Mikey to protect me. Okay? This is crazy. Now, the Broncos are going to be -7. That's the opening line. I'm trying to give you the early lines. And I think it's about correct. I think it was a demoralizing loss to the Cowboys. Now you're going to go up against a better defense, a defense that's very aggressive with their schemes. But that's where they got to be careful, because I think Justin Fields, being the mobile quarterback he is, he could make plays with his feet. But I don't think it'll be enough to beat the Broncos. So obviously you're going to money line the Broncos. Okay, we already spoke about the Jets. The over and under is at 43.5. I'm going to take the under at 43.5. I think what they did to the Eagles, it's going to get worse against the Jets. They're going to keep that game low. So take the Broncos, money line it, and the favorites -7 sounds about right. Next game. We got the Seahawks at Jacksonville. Jacksonville coming off a big win. They're excited. Trevor Lawrence looks like Trevor Lawrence that everyone expected. Love their defense. Love the way they take away the football. But a couple of things that worries me is, one, they got a big victory as prime time, right? They got on prime time. They show the world, hey, we're a real football team. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We're 4-1. We came back and we thought we were going to lose the game after Kareem Hunt scored what appeared to be the game-winning touchdown. We went right back down the field, but thanks Harrison Butker for that stupid kickoff that put the ball almost at near midfield. With a guy like Cam Little as a kicker, did you really think that was going to – well, then again, they had to score a touchdown anyway, so I don't know why I brought up Cam Little. You know, it must have been a brain fart I just had. But anyway, they had the short field. They go down, they score. Trevor Lawrence, probably the best game of his life up to this point, right? 5 years in the league, and it's probably the best game of his life. I just think they're coming off this high. They're going to come down to a low. They're playing a good defensive team, although Seattle didn't show it. I told you guys they were going to get upset last week by Tampa Bay. Hopefully you guys ran with that. Okay. Seahawks are favored by -1.5. I'm going to take that because it's at -1.5. It could easily be a pick'em game. I'm a money line the Seahawks, and I'm going to take the over of 44.5. I see this game like 27-23, right? It's at Jacksonville. They're coming off a big win. They're not going to wake up until about the third quarter. Trevor Lawrence by then will probably have thrown 2 interceptions, right? Travis Hunter looked like he got hurt towards the end of that game. He was limping around. I don't know how big that injury is, all right? So here it is, guys. We're going to money line the Seahawks. We're going to go with the over of 44.5, and they'll beat the Jaguars this weekend. Okay, now you got the Chargers at Dolphins, okay? This, I don't know what the hell happened to Miami Sunday. Funny business around the NFL with sports betting. You know, before this game even started, I had Tua to throw two touchdowns, right? I had Devon A-Chain to run all over these guys. Instead of Rico Dowdle, yeah, get that in your head. Rico Dowdle runs over them for 200-plus yards. It's not like Miami has a shitty defense, but they didn't even bother to show up. What did they think, that the Panthers were going to lay down for them? Now, I get it. The Panthers don't have the greatest offense in the world, but shit. Xavier Leggett and what's this guy's name? Their first-round pick, McMillan. Territoria McMillan or Ted McMillan. Did they really think that these guys aren't good? And then Rico Dowdle. 200-plus yards against your defense. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So now they're going to get the Chargers, who have a good running game. Marion Hampton comes in. Plethora of wide receivers led by Ladd McConkey, right? Quentin Johnson, right? Keenan Allen, right? After what I saw against Miami, you know, between Miami and the Panthers, you think I'm going to take Miami in this game? Hell no. Let's go with the LA Chargers to rebound from, I called it. I said the Commanders were going to go to LA and beat the Chargers, but it was a tough loss. Let's take the Chargers, all right? -4.5. Yeah, I like that. I think defensively, right, with the two corners, they got a nice secondary in with the Chargers. Tua, I told you I don't know how Tua got that big contract from Miami, but I think he's the reason why they lose a lot of games. And this guy can't throw deep. He just can't. He can't get it done. So, yeah, this is disappointing to see Tua, okay? No Tyreek Hill, although Jalen Waddle and Darren Waller did very well. They do have weapons, but if you got Tua at quarterback and you got a defense that allowed the Panthers to come back and beat you, forget about it. Take the Chargers, money line it, -4.5. Let's go to the next game. We got the Rams at Ravens, and man, I hate this game. I hate this game because as a sports bettor and a guy that's trying to do the right thing, trying to give you that edge for free, right? Hit that like and subscribe button again for me, guys. All right. I'm a money line the Rams. Ravens aren't showing me anything. They really are bad this year. Their defense, they talk so much about the Steelers in the AFC North about their defense. This is atrocious what I'm watching. The Ravens, who have this reputation, oh, we're Super Bowl contenders, we're going to beat her at the end. No, you're not. No, you're not. And Lamar, I don't know if he's going to play this game. Doesn't matter. He'll keep the game close if he plays. But Cooper Rush, it's a whole different playbook. Straight up, guys, it's a whole different playbook. You're getting the Rams. You're getting the Rams coming off what I thought was the most disappointing loss to begin the week. That's how I knew my weekend was going to go to shits. They lose to the 49ers. It's a head scratcher. Now you got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams coming into Baltimore after what the Texans, who couldn't find the end zone all year, did to them. This is what scares me. They literally got the Rams at -7.5. So now everybody's going to throw their money to the Ravens for the +7.5 like me, right? I'm going to be the fool to take the Ravens +7.5 to keep this game close. When we all know the Rams going to go in there, the NFL's going to trip us up with the sports betting, and Vegas is going to laugh at us and say, aha, screw you, Rams blew them out. I'm money lining the Rams anyway. And I'm going to take the over 44.5 because I think most of the points are going to come from the Rams. Ravens just can't stop anybody, straight up. Okay, so, I mean, money line the Rams, the over at 44.5. But I'm going to take the Ravens +7.5. Ravens, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to take the +7.5. Next game. You got the Cardinals at the Colts. This is one of those games where you're going to run with the Colts to win, right? I believe I money lined the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not okay with that. I'm really not. Something tells me the Arizona Cardinals are going to pull the upset. But I'm going to take the Colts because it's at Indianapolis. They're playing out of their mind. They're in first place in that AFC South. Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren, just fantastic the way they're playing this year, right? Here comes the Arizona Cardinals, losers of 3 straight last-second field goals and poor coaching decisions, and a running back who decided, I'm just going to, before I get in the end zone, I'm just going to flip the ball. Why should I even bother taking the Cardinals? But all the money's going to roll with the Colts on this, right? This is why I got the Cardinals. That, by the way, they got the Colts favored at -6.5. I think that's listen, it could happen, right? But I'm gonna take the Cardinals +6.5. Something tells me I'm not comfortable with this game at all. And the over and under is at 47.5. Obviously, I'm gonna take the over at 47.5. I think the Cardinals could get some touchdowns here, right? I think Marvin Harrison is waking up. I think D. McCardle's going to play differently, probably headstrong this game, and probably give you a great performance, too, on top of it. I think Trey McBride presents problems to that secondary, too. They got weapons, Arizona. So does Indianapolis, but they haven't met an Arizona defense like this. This is a good defense, by the way. I know that it doesn't show, but these guys, they get around football. I think they're going to cause problems. This is upset alert to me here, but I'm going to take the Colts. I'm a money line. I'm going to take the over at 47.5, but I'm taking the +6.5. Let's go to the next game. These are the games that kills me. Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys look, hey, Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind. George Pickens is doing his thing. Javonte Williams is doing his thing. That was a crazy run before the half last weekend. So, obviously, you want to roll with the Cowboys, right? The defense looks like they held the Jets to 22 points. That's the lowest score they ever held an opponent all year, I believe, right? Now they get the Panthers. I'm pretty sure they're going to hold the Panthers to below 20 also. Because something tells me that the Cowboys are really going to believe in their bullshit and think that they're back. Oh, our defense is playing great now. It's not like they have a bad defensive coordinator. I think Matt Nagy's a good defensive coordinator, but they just don't have the players to get them over the hump on the defense, basically. They do have a couple of good players, right? Diggs, right? Kenny Clark, guys like that. But they will make an impact this weekend. They will beat the Panthers. I know they will beat the Panthers because Dak Prescott's a beast. Okay, he's just playing out of his mind. Could be the MVP right now, the front runner. And if he gets the Cowboys to the playoffs, then Dak Prescott's going to do it. Panthers, I'm not believing in Bryce Young yet. I think this was a blip that they beat the Miami Dolphins. They were getting killed. And yet Rico Dowdle was bringing them back in the game with these big runs all over the place. Do I see the Panthers scoring? Yeah. Do I see them beating the Cowboys? No. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. -3.5 sounds good to me. Okay. I'm going to take the over. I believe it's 49.5. I'm going to take the over. I don't know why I'm taking the over. I should be taking the under, right? But I just feel like Dallas is going to put up 35 points, and then I think the Panthers could get at least 20 points, right? Right? So, money line the Cowboys, take the -3.5. Let's move on. You got the Patriots at Saints. Love the upset with the Saints. I picked them last week to upset the Giants. I said that in my previous video. So that came true for me. But in this game, I'm a money line the Patriots. I love what they did to the Buffalo Bills. They're playing absolutely better. Great job by Mike Vrabel, the head coach. He's doing a fantastic job. Money line the Patriots, -3.5. I still think the Saints still have trouble, getting that offense going. Giants helped them out with those 5 turnovers. Let's face it, right? Spencer Rattler did play a little bit better, but that kid Rashid, he's an animal. With Chris Olaf, if they get that offense fixed up, they could be unreal. But I think they're a year or two away from getting it there. Who knows if these guys are still on the same team. But take New England. All right, enough said with that game. Moneyline New England, -3.5. And the over and under, take the over 49.5. Is that 49.5? No, I'm sorry. It's 45.5. Talking straight out my ass. I'm going to take the under of 45.5. I think most of the points come from New England. Then they coast from there. Okay, let's go to the next game. This is a tough game, rivalry game. Everybody knows I'm a homer. I'm a Steelers fan. So what am I going to do? I'm a money line Pittsburgh. Why? Because it's at Pittsburgh. I saw some good things these past couple of weekends with the Steelers, the past couple of wins, I should say, right? Their defense is getting right. They are going to be without Jalen Ramsey. They are going to be without Joey Porter Jr. That's the word I'm getting from the injury report. But I just feel Aaron Rodgers, right, with the weapons he's got, I feel like Arthur Smith's going to get something out of his offense this week. I'm not expecting a lot of points. Maybe a 17-13 type football game, or maybe 21-10 or something like that. I just think Dylan Gabriel, he didn't look bad against the Vikings, but this will be his second week where he goes up against a tough quality defense, a defense that loves to blitz, likes to mix it up. This is an opportunity for Pittsburgh to get on a little bit of a roll here, right? You got to get this win. You lose to Cleveland, and people are going to start that talk again about these are pretenders, not contenders. I believe Pittsburgh's a contender. They'll get the job done this Sunday. Moneyline the Steelers. With the Browns, I love Quinshawn Junkins. I think he's going to give the Steelers fits. I love Myles Garrett. I love the way the Browns defense is playing. I think if the Browns had a better quarterback situation, I believe the Cleveland Browns would probably be giving the Steelers and the Ravens, and actually anybody in the AFC, a run for the money. The defense is good. They got weapons, Cleveland, so Pittsburgh better be careful. So we're gonna take that +5.5 with Cleveland. That's a weird number. I hate those numbers because it makes me want to go with the Steelers at the -5.5. So I really hate that. We're going to take the under of 38.5. All right, the over and under is at 38.5. Sounds about right. It's a rivalry game. They love to knock each other out. Previous games have shown that. We're going to take the under of 38.5. We're going to money line the Steelers, but we're going to take the Browns of +5.5. Okay, so keep that in mind. They're going to keep this game close. Next game. Titans and Raiders. Oh, what a garbage game this is. Like, seriously, as a sports bettor, do I want to touch this game? Don't get me wrong. I mean, Cam Ward got the win in Arizona because Arizona handed them that game, basically. You know, the blunder with the DeMarcado, what should have been a touchdown, could have made the 28-6, game ends. The interception, which was really an incomplete pass, turns into a fumble. I just don't understand what the refs are doing. Okay? Maybe they're involved with the sports betting too. Maybe they have friends that need to get paid. I don't know. Again, the men in black will probably show up, but I got little Mikey here to kick some butt. Anyway, I hate this game. I'm going to take this game as an over 41.5, and I'll tell you why. I think this is one of those games where both defenses just don't give a shit. They're going to let both these offenses go up and down the field all day. I think the one guy that's going to play defense is Max Crosby. Everybody else is just going to stare at each other and go, hey, Max, do your thing. We'll just stand here and let the Titans do their thing, which is, I don't know. Because the Titans offense, I don't know what the hell they're doing back there. Well, I don't like this game, but I'm a money line of Raiders. They're going to get off the schneid, but they're going to play against a shit team like the Titans. Titans, they're still rebuilding. Coaching staff sucks. Everything sucks. I don't know how they even won that game in Arizona. Thanks a lot, Arizona. Really ruined my parlay. Had another parlay going, and they just ruined it. All right, moneyline Raiders. Minus 5.5 sounds about right. I think the Raiders are going to explode after being embarrassed. I think Geno Smith throws 5 touchdowns. Who knows, right? But minus 5.5 sounds right. And we're going to take the over 41.5. Let's go to the next game. We got the 49ers at Bucks. Well, 49ers are going to come crashing down after their big victory. Mac Jones, who pants fell down during the game and everyone saw his butt. Okay? That's what's going to happen when they go to Tampa Bay. They're going to get exposed like that. I think Tampa Bay is going to rip off the pants of Mac Jones and expose the 49ers for who they are. Can someone please beat the 49ers? There's just too many injuries. And Mac Jones is playing better than Brock Purdy. And I don't want to say that word, but there's a little bit of a quarterback controversy. You pay all this money for Brock Purdy, but he can't give you quarterback play because he's injured all the time. So now Mac Jones is going to take over. He's limping all around, playing his ass off, eating bananas on the sidelines and all types of nutrients. And you think this team's going to, with all the injuries, they're going to beat Tampa Bay? Now, I know 49ers fans are going to say, yeah, you say that every week, and yet we win. You're absolutely right. Talk about upset alert. Yeah, this could be one of those games. But I'm a money line the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the -3. The over and under is at 47.5. I'm going to take the under 47.5. I just think that the 49ers offense, I don't know how they managed to put those points up against the Rams. I think the Rams secondary was the biggest letdown. They let a guy like Kendrick Bourne look like Jerry Rice. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Buccaneers defense is a whole lot better. Take the Bucks, money line the Bucks, over and under 47.5. Take the under at 47.5. Let's move on. Guys, Vegas is going to get involved in this game. Check out this spread. Packers over the Bengals at -14.5. I'm a money line the Packers. That's obvious, right? Bengals got garbage time touchdowns last weekend against Detroit. And the over and under is at 43.5. Seriously, guys? 43.5? So where are you getting the 43.5? Okay, I mean, how could this game be over and under at 43.5? Most of the points are coming from the Packers because the Bengals clearly show they can't score shit. And the Packers are pissed off because losing to the Browns, they let the Cowboys tie them. You don't think the Packers are going to put a can of whip ass on the Cleveland Browns? Guess what, people? We're going to take the Packers. We're going to money line. We're going to take that -14.5. This is where all the money's going to roll on the Packers, right? But there's going to be people that are going to put that +14.5. They really believe the Bengals are going to hang in there with them. Wow, what a shocker. with shit that's been going on this year in the NFL. But I'm going to go with the minus 14.5. I think the Bengals beat them like 38-10, something like that, right? But I'm going to take the over 43.5. Sorry. Let's move on. Lions at Chiefs. Again, all the money's going to roll at Detroit because of what Kansas City did. Couldn't hold the lead. The defense looked like garbage at the end of the game. They lose to Trevor Lawrence, and here comes Jared Goff and the high-flying Detroit Lions, who scored 30-plus points every game. Other than week one, they've been on fire. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Jamison Williams, who's still trying to find the end zone, but he's still good enough to get you yardage. Then you got a defense that, yeah, they give up points, but when they need to hold it down, they hold it down. This is an offense that scores from all parts of the field. This used to be what the Kansas City Chiefs were. Remember that game a couple of years ago? Detroit made a statement. They went to Kansas City, beat their asses and everything. Do I see that happening again? Here's my upset special of the week. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. Not because I believe the Chiefs are going to pull the upset, but because the NFL is getting funny. All the money right now is rolling towards Detroit. And this minus 1.5 that they put on Kansas City as the favorite, that's the early line. I'm sure it's going to flip over to Detroit. So everyone's throwing money right now on Detroit, right? Plus 1.5. Are you kidding me? We're jumping on that plus 1.5. And watch Kansas City win. So I'm a money line to Kansas City Chiefs for the big upset. And I'm going to take the over, obviously, of over 50.5. Yeah, I could see this game going somewhere like 28-24. Same score as Monday night, but Kansas City winning. Something like that, right? 28-27, something like that, right? Take Kansas City in the upset special. We're down to our last two games. We got the Buffalo Bills at the Atlanta Falcons. Guys, I don't know what happened to Buffalo last Sunday night. I just think they rebound. I'm a money line the Bills. I'm going to take the minus 4.5 too. I think Josh Allen is phenomenal. Just don't understand what happened on Sunday night against New England. But New England's a good football team, so give New England credit. It wasn't like they were playing a shit team. They were playing a good team, a well-coached team. All right? I'm looking at my notes. Atlanta Falcons, I'm not sold on Michael Penix yet. Not sold on him. He does have ways of playing poorly when you want him to play well. And he has weapons. They got Bijan Robinson. This is going to be the Bijan Robinson game. This is a game where he has to get in the end zone, and he's going to be the focal point. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Drake London. But I don't think it's enough. I think it's going to be one of those games where it could be high scoring. I'm going to take the over 48.5. So take the Buffalo Bills minus 4.5, okay? And take the over 48.5 and money line the Bills. Final game. Bears at Commanders. Okay. Commanders get Jaden Daniels back. I like that. I love this Corey Merritt, right? Calls himself Bill. I don't know where that came from, but that's what he calls himself. But he's a good running back, number 22 of the Washington Commanders. Debo is a good wide receiver. Jaden Daniels got weapons there. Zach Ertz. You got to start using Zach Ertz, Washington. You just have to. You know. The Bears, I put Caleb Williams in the same category as Michael Penix. I don't know what I'm going to get from him. There are some games where Caleb Williams looks like a fantastic quarterback, looks like he found his way, and then he goes back to his old way. Well, I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to take the plus 4.5 for the Bears, but I'm a money line the Washington Commanders, and I'm going to take the over and under of 49.5. Sounds crazy. Could be a 27-23 game. I would this over and under I stay away from, but it's at 49.5. I'm going to take the under. Well, that pretty much is going to take care of my bullshit rambling of what's going on around the NFL. So let me pause this tape for a second. Okay, let me just pause it for a second. All right, guys, let me show you this whiteboard. All right. All right. I hope you guys can see that, right? Trying to do it a little bit differently now. So, hope you guys can see what I wrote down as far as the picks. Okay, let me pause it again while I get the rest of these guys. All right, guys, paused it for a second there. This is my other whiteboard. All right, I'm holding it up for a while so this way you guys could write down what I'm putting up. Remember, you're getting this edge for free. I do all the analytics for you guys so this way you could run to your sports book or on your sports apps and pick these games. Okay, hope you guys got a good look at that. All right, let me pause the tape once again. Okay, guys, this is the final board. Hope you guys can see the bottom of it. I have the Commanders, right? If you could read that correctly. And that's the under 49.5 and then a plus 4.5 for the Bears. But anyway, that's the way we're going to roll this weekend with the picks, right? All types of stuff happens, but that's the way we look. Okay, guys. So there you have it. Okay. So let me pause this tape for a second. Well, there you have it, folks. I put up the whiteboard for you guys this weekend. Last weekend I didn't do it. I don't know why. I just had a brain fart. I thought I did. What I'm going to do differently, I'm going to go game by game right now and tell you who would be the best touchdown makers for each game. Let's start off with the Thursday night game. You want to build up this parlay. You want to do a single parlay build-up. You could start with the primetime games, right? Or you could basically do 1 p.m. games, 4 p.m. games, whatever is going to be available to you at your convenience in your location, right? But we're going to start with the Eagles at Giants. Who's going to score in this game? I'm looking to Saquon Barkley, who's had big games against the Giants. So obviously, he's going to New York against his team. So you could put his name down as a parlay builder for a touchdown. Yeah, I would go with Saquon Barkley. I think he'll get in the end zone. Do I look for any of the receivers? I might go with tight end Dallas Goedert. He's been like Jalen Hurts' boy when he throws that ball in the end zone. All right. As far as the Giants, I think I'm going to go with Cam Scatterbo. I think the Giants are going to, I don't know how that tight end caught 2 touchdowns last weekend for the Giants. I wouldn't pick him this weekend, although his name is there, right? I might go with Cam Scatterbo, maybe Jackson Dart running one in, right? He's always scrambling around for some reason. I don't think the offense is going to be that bad, but if I had to pick a touchdown guy to beat Cam Scatterbo, I would feel safe with that. Let's go to the next game, Broncos at Jets. Well, I like J.K. Dobbins in this game. I also like maybe Troy Franklin, wide receiver. If not him, R.J. Harvey, the rookie. You always got to go outside the box sometimes because those guys are going to give you plus numbers. Guys like R.J. Harvey are like plus 340, right? So he might build up your parlay a little bit better money-wise. But if you want to play it safe, you go with J.K. Dobbins, right? He's the other running back, but he'll be at a minus. But if you want to build your parlay at some points, you go with R.J. Harvey. Wide receivers, you could pick Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, because they'll probably be in a plus. Cortland Sutton, he's a guy that always, one of Bo Nix's favorite targets, can get in the end zone. He's a safe bet. On the Jets, there's only 2 people I look at. Breece Hall is one of them. He had a big game against Denver a couple of years ago before he blew out his knee. So maybe this is a game where he gets going. Maybe the Jets decide, you know what, we're going to stay on the ground this weekend. We're just going to let Justin Fields and the running game do their thing. Look for Breece Hall to get that in the end zone. The secondary is just too tough for Garrett Wilson to start running around and getting a touchdown. He'll probably be in the plus, but take Breece Hall. Let's go Seahawks at Jags. Who do I like? Jackson Njigba Smith. I like him. I like A.J. Barner, and I like Zach Charbonnet. He's getting in the end zone more than Kenneth Walker. So Zach Charbonnet might be on a minus this time, and maybe Kenneth Walker drops down to the plus side. So look for Kenneth Walker to probably finally get in that end zone for Seattle, right? Najigba Smith, he's also in the minus. A.J. Barner, he's starting to climb up towards the plus 200. So maybe you want that. As far as the Jaguars, look for Travis Etienne, okay, to maybe get back into that end zone. If not him, Brian Thomas is waking up a little bit, but that's a tough defense. I'm not expecting much. Maybe let me see. Trying to Brenton Strange, the tight end. Maybe that'd be a stretch, but this is a tough defense. But play it safe. Go with Seattle touchdown makers. Okay. LA Chargers at Miami. Obviously, on the Miami side, you got Devon A-Chain, Ollie Gordon, right? I like Ollie Gordon. He's on the plus side. Jalen Waddle's been finding the end zone, right? Okay, those are three guys. And Darren Wall is waking up. So that's a guy who's on the plus side. You may want to take him, right? I don't expect Miami to do much against the Chargers secondary. But if you had to play a safe side, go with Devon A-Chain or Ollie Gordon, one of the two. As far as the Chargers, I like Quentin Johnson in this game. I also like the tight ends, Will Dissly or Tyler Conklin. Those guys are in the plus 700s. And I think Will Dissly or one of the two. I know Dissly didn't play last week, so maybe Conklin plays or whatnot. Or Marion Hampton, yeah, I could see him getting in the end zone this week. You could play safe with this guy. Rams at Ravens. Well, look, the way the Texans were scoring at will against the Ravens, now they're going to be going up against a better offense. I like Puka to get in the end zone, just like I like Kyron, just like I like Devontae Adams. So any of those three, I would feel safe picking one of them. Remember, when you're building your touchdown parlay, I'm not asking you to pick all these guys. I'm asking you to pick one of them and feel safe with them and continue building your parlay game by game. You know, a $5 bet could probably win you $1,000 or $2,000, maybe even more if you do it that way, right? Sometimes the favorites don't pay much and you got to go outside the box and get a guy in a plus, right, to build up that money, right? Okay. So on the Ravens side, I'm still going to go with Derrick Henry. Just like Saquon Barkley, I don't understand why Baltimore doesn't use him as much. But if you didn't want to go Derrick Henry, you could go with his boy, his backup, Justice Hill. So this is a guy that sneakily gets in the end zone every now and then. He's somewhere around the plus 500s. So I really like this guy. Mark Andrews, he's a guy who gets in the end zone. He's in the plus side as well. How about Devontae Walker? If you want to take a reach and put Devontae Walker there, right? But again, who's quarterbacking the Ravens? Keep an eye on that. If it's Lamar Jackson, you might go with Derrick Henry. All right. If it's Cooper Rush, you got to look to the outside, like a Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman. Even a DeAndre Hopkins might get you in. So play it safe. Take one of the Rams players for your touchdown parlay builder. Next game, you got the Cardinals at Colts. If I had to pick a Cardinals guy, it's going to be, believe it or not, it's going to be the guy that screwed up my parlay last week, Omari DiMercato. Okay. So I'm going to take him again. Marvin Harrison is another safe bet. And then for the Colts, you got Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor, who gets in the end zone every weekend. This might be the weekend he doesn't get in the end zone. So keep an eye on that. And besides, he's not going to pay much anyway. He's on the minus. So if you want to go outside of Jonathan Taylor, you may want to pick the tight end Tyler Warren, or maybe Daniel Jones runs it in. He'll be on the plus side with that. But that's an anytime touchdown scorer, right? I don't think they're going to count that as a pass, so be careful when you're picking Daniel Jones. I like Tyler Warren. If I had to pick a receiver, it would probably be Michael Pittman, okay? Let's move on. Cowboys at Packers. Come on, George Pickens will probably get in the end zone. Jake Ferguson, I like him now. Javonte Williams, another guy, right? For the Panthers, I'm not comfortable with picking any of those guys, so do yourself a favor. Stay away from teams that struggle getting in the end zone. They could ruin your parlays, trust me. So let's move on. Patriots at Saints. If I had to pick a player on the Saints, it's going to be probably Rashid, the wide receiver, or Chris Olive, one of the two. I know that they got tight ends that could get in there, right? Jawan Johnson, and then they got that other kid, right? Foster Moreau. this could be a Foster Moreau type of deal, right? He's going to be on the plus side, like probably plus 1,000 if he gets in. But for some reason, that's what happens in these games, right? Guys you don't expect to get in the end zone are getting in the end zone. I think I'm going to roll with either probably Rashid or Alvin Kamara for the Saints. But my advice would be stay away from the Saints and picking those players. Patriots, I like Ramondre Stevenson still. You know, when he sniffs the goal line, he's always around there. If he does a fumble, he gets in. I like Hunter Henry. I like Stephon Diggs, too, in this game. Let's move on. Browns at Steelers. Let's go with Chris Junkins. Let's go with Harold Fanini. I believe that's his name, right? This is a guy who's going to be on the plus side. Will probably get in the end zone. Steelers secondary is going to be a little iffy this weekend, so watch for David Njoku or Jerry Jeudy if he's available, okay? As far as the Steelers go, Jaylen Warren, right? I think the Steelers are going to try to avoid getting creamed by Myles Garrett. This is a good defense, so watch for Jaylen Warren to pound it in. And if you want a guy on the plus side that's probably going to get in the end zone, I'm pretty much sure I think he's going to get in. Darnell Washington, he'll probably be at a plus 1,700 or maybe 1,000. Got to take that guy, right? Just throw him in there. If not him, then go with DK Metcalf. Play it safe. This is going to be a tough. I mean, to be honest, this is another game where I'm not comfortable with picking touchdown players from either side, all right? But Chris Junkins, I'm okay with. I mean, not Chris Junkins. Don't mean to be disrespectful. His name is Quinshon Junkins, and he is one hell of a football player, okay? So look for him to get in the end zone, okay? Titans at Raiders. Stay away from the Titans. If there was one player on the Titans that you could depend on, it's probably Tony Pollard, but that was a miracle he got in the end zone against Arizona. Stay away from the Titans. Let's concentrate on the Raiders. Look for maybe Jacoby Myers or maybe Ashton Gianti. Again, he's starting to get in the end zone. Let's move on. 49ers at Bucks. Emeka Egbuka. All right, if that's his name, if I said it right? I love this kid, probably rookie of the year at the moment. I love Sterling Sharp, okay? Because they're playing the 49ers and their defense led by Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, they're going to give the Buccaneers a little bit of a hard time. Look for either a couple of these guys from the Buccaneers. I don't know what the status is for Bucky Irving, but if he does play, I could pick him. But I'm going to stick with Rachaad White. Showed his toughness last week against Seattle. And the fact that they scored all those points against a tough defense was incredible. I like Sterling Sharp. Again, Emeka Egbuka, I like him. I don't know if Mike Evans is going to play. Maybe Chris Godwin, maybe. I don't know if he's going to play. Cade Otton would be a surprise. He'll be in the plus, right? So look for guys like that to get in the end zone. Let's move on. Oh, no, let me talk about the 49ers. Who would get in the end zone? Obvious, right? Safe bet, Christian McCaffrey. After Christian McCaffrey, can Kendrick Bourne get in the end zone after what he did last weekend? You know, the Buccaneers have a decent secondary. They're not that bad. But Kendrick Bourne would be one guy that maybe I could say, outside of Christian McCaffrey, could get in the end zone. But don't sleep on Jake Tunjins, okay? So tight end for the 49ers who, you know, it's been playing very well since George Kittle's been out. We got the Bengals at the Packers. What touchdown makers I'm looking for? Obviously, the safe one is Jamar Chase. Second safe one's going to be T. Higgins. Outside of that, I'm not really confident in the Bengals getting in the end zone this weekend. They'll probably get 10 points, but it'll probably come from Jamar Chase. As far as the Packers, look for Josh Jacobs. Let me see. Bengals defense is not that good. They're not playing well in the secondary, so bunch of maybe Tucker Kraft is a safe bet. Dontavian Wicks, maybe. You know, whoever's a wide receiver for the Packers, because they really don't have favorites over there. But I would stay away from picking a wide receiver from the Packers, even though a couple of them might score this Sunday, because I just don't know which one is Jordan Love's favorite, right? Let's move on. We got the Lions at Chiefs. Well, we all know who we want to pick on the Lions, right? You have a whole bunch of picks. You could go with Jahmyr Gibbs to run it in, David Montgomery, right? You could get on the outside, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, even Isaac Tesla, who could surprisingly in the plus 900s get in the end zone. like he did for me last week. And I was so ecstatic. Thanks a lot, D. Mercado, for not going in the end zone. Cost me $800,000. Okay, so I like those guys for Detroit. Jameson Williams, I believe that's the way you pronounce it. Quality receiver, right? He has that problem with the drops he's throughout his career, but this year he looks solid, right? But the problem is he doesn't get in the end zone as much. I'm not understanding that, but why do I think he's going to get in the end zone in this game? He might be in a plus 200s or something. Pick him and get in the end zone. And as far as Kansas City, all right, it's either going to be Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Xavier Ward. There's going to be in this game, you're going to have about six players from each side that could definitely get in the end zone. You just better pick the right one. That's all. That's the best way to look at it. Just, throw a dart at their names and see what comes up. That's the way I would do it. Okay. You got the Buffalo Bills at Falcons. Obviously, I like Josh Allen to run it in. Even Michael Penix could be a guy that could run it in. But the safe bet is Bijan Robinson. Yes, Bijan. Not, let me see. I don't know how he's pronouncing it these days, but I call him Bijan. I like him. I like Kyle Pitts, too, in this game. I really do. I think both those guys can get in the end zone for the Atlanta Falcons. Buffalo, obviously, the safe bets are James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. If you want to go outside of that, you could probably get a guy like Keon Coleman or Shaquille, right? Khalil Shaquille, right? Or Shaquille Khalil, whatever, no disrespect. But you could play it safe with that game, right? There's about 3 or 4 players from each side that you could pick. Again, another game where you throw a dart at it and you just hope it lands on one of those players. And then the final game, right? You got the Bears at Commanders. Okay, let me see. On the Bears, I would take maybe Colston Loveland, if that's his name, the tight end, or Cole Kmet. Those guys could surprise Washington this Monday night and get in the end zone. DeAndre Swift, that's another guy. I love Luther Burden, all right, but for some reason, Caleb Williams doesn't throw his way as much, and I think he should start doing it because Luther Burden's a quality receiver. What's another guy? Obviously, DJ Moore, right? And the one guy that you really could pick, and I'm pretty sure he's probably going to score on Monday, will be Rome Odunze, right? If I pronounce that right? Because I've been misspelling guys' names on that whiteboard. I'm not using a whiteboard today because it's going to take so much time to write these names down. That's why I'm doing it, because you got to remember, I crashed out on Sunday. I was flipping out. So I was dying to get in front of the camera and do what I needed to do to get you guys these picks and these touchdown parlays. But take Roman Odunze this Monday, right? And then for the Commanders, I like Zach Ertz. I like Ja'Cory Merritt or Bill Merritt, if that's his name, right? Crosby or whatever. Okay, I like him. I like Debo. Don't know the stats of Terry McLaurin, but pretty much that's it, guys. Those are the guys I will roll with my touchdown parlay builder. I gave you guys who's going to win, what the spreads are. My advice, because last week I won 7-7 on the money lines. Terrible weekend with upsets, right? Thank God I picked some upsets myself that saved that to end at 500, right? I took the Bucks as an upset. I took the Saints as an upset, right? That came through for me. But I also got upset by Vegas when the Jaguars won last night. And Chris Jones acted like he got paid by a sports bookie and just stands there like, go ahead, Trevor, score. I'm not going to chase you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just get in. Don't worry about it. I know all the money rolled with us to win, but that's okay, Trevor. You can score. Men in Black will probably show up soon. But there is a lot of conspiracies going on because the storylines this year has been what? Special teams, field goal kick. It started from preseason when Cam Little made that record 70-yard field goal, even though it's not a true record because it was in preseason. But it started with that. The minute he did that, I remember turning to my boy and saying, bro, that's going to be the storyline for this year, special teams. And certainly it has been that. Okay, so strange things are happening around the NFL. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I got my notes right here, and I gotta tell you guys, these notes don't mean shit with the way things are going so far in the NFL. Okay, losing parlays because a guy can't get in the end zone. Now you tell me. This is why people are going to and referees throwing flags and then picking it up and saying, "No, that's not a flag. Why are you throwing it?" It's just funny things are going on. I think once sports betting got legalized in certain states, now you got sports apps all over the place. I can't even name them all. You got sports books at every casinos, right? At least in the states that are legal. Strange things have been happening in the NFL. And you just have to be a very cautious sports bettor. Excuse me for a second. This is why I tell people to bet small. Okay, bet small. Play with money you don't need. Bet small to win big. That's what I do every weekend. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. This past weekend I took major losses. I would stay away from over and unders. Those are pretty much doing bad too. Those over and unders are doing bad as well. Spreads, for some reason, I went. How many games were there last weekend? 14. This past weekend, I think 14. I went 9-5. I went 9-5 with my spreads. 9-5. Go figure. Did poorly in money lines, going 7-7, but did well with the spreads. 9-5. That's the way it's been so far this year. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just going to look at my notes one more time to see if I missed out on anything. But who's on upset alert? Let's do that for a second. Who's on upset alert this week? How about I told you about the Cardinals at Colts. That's an upset alert game, right? I think even though the Colts are favored, I think the Cardinals are going to give them a game. Who's another one? You got the Browns at Steelers. That's upset alert, right? With all the injuries the Steelers have in the secondary. Is Dylan Gabriel going to become Ken Stabler this weekend and beat the Steelers? Who knows, right? That's upset alert. You got the Titans at Raiders. What a shit game for people. What a shit game for sports bettors. Wouldn't surprise me if the Titans pulled out a miracle. Listen, this will tell you if the NFL is rigged. Bengals at Packers with a spread of minus 14.5. Wow, if the Bengals beat the Packers. Wow, that would be nuts. That would be nuts. Chiefs, Lions at Chiefs, that's on upset alert. I took the Chiefs as an upset, right? Pretty much, I think I covered everything, guys. So, Casino P here, giving you the edge for free. If you could call it an edge, all right? Because I'm struggling right now. I'm looking at everything I did over the summer. Everything I did. I'm pretty sure I did everything the right way to give you guys an edge for free. That's why you got to hit that like and subscribe button, because I'm going to be up close and personal throughout the season, doing this for free for you guys. You don't pay me nothing. You guys, all you have to do is put your money on your sports apps and in your sports books and go beat Vegas. Go beat Vegas and these sports apps. Seriously. That's the whole purpose of what you're watching, right? I'm giving you this edge for free, guys. Okay? This edge is for free. And, we're going into week 6. And I crashed out on Sunday, as well as last night, with everything that's been going on so far in the NFL with special teams, kickoffs. A guy cannot kick the ball past the 30-yard line, kicks it out of bounds, and gives the team half the field. That's how you lose games, guys. Players that can't get in the end zone properly because they're so busy trying to celebrate and become a highlight instead of getting in the end zone. Once the ref says touchdown, then do your dance and whatever. That's been going on. It's just dumb shit that's been going on, ruining sports betting everywhere. That's why people are going to start questioning, is the NFL rigged? Is Vegas hand in hand with what's going on? Are referees taking a cut? Guys, I don't need the men in black coming into my house. But stranger things are happening. We're already in October. It's Halloween. Little Mikey here, okay, he's flipping out. Look at his hair. Look at his hair, right? He's had enough. He's holding a knife. He's had enough. It's happening. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for watching and hearing my rants. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I'm Casino Pete, and can we please get some winners this weekend? Because lately, the NFL has really shitted on sports bettors throughout. Let's get this right, guys. All right, let's get this right. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave your comments, and much appreciated. And let's get going. See you guys next weekend, and hopefully we win a lot this weekend. So let's get going.